Hello everyone, this is LeetCode problem number 4, median of two shorted arrays. So here we are given two arrays nums1 and nums2 of size m and n respectively, and we have to find their median. So the first thing that comes to my mind is we can just we can combine and sort them, and then we can find their median. I hope you already know how we combine and merge sort. Basically, we will be having two sorted arrays, and then when we combine them, we get a result also as the sorted array. So how it works is we'll have two pointers on both of our sorted arrays, and let's say I'm keeping it here. So if one is less, so among 1 and 2, 1 is less, I'll keep 1 here and I'll move my pointer. In 2 and 4, 2 is less, I'll move my pointer. In 3 and 4, 3 is less, I'll move my pointer. In 4 and 5, 4 is less, I'll move my pointer. In 5 and 7, 5 is less, I'll move my pointer. In 6 and 7, 6 is less, I'll move my pointer. In 7 and 8, 7 is less, I'll move my pointer. In 8 and 10, 8 is less, I'll move my pointer. And in 9 and 10, 9 is less. And then 10th is the last element that we have. And now that we have the sorted array, we can find median. Now we already know how to find median for the even when we have the even length versus when we have length as odd. If we have length odd, we will just find n by 2th element, and in this case n by 2th element plus n by 2th plus 1th element, like their average. So basically here, since it is even, since it is even, it will be 10 by 2. So it's 5th plus 6th element, and 5th is 6th element. Here is nothing but 5 and 6 itself. So which will be 5 plus 6 by 2, which would be nothing but 5.5 will be the median. Okay, so now what is the problem with this is that merge sort takes O of m plus n time. So this is taking linear time. And in this question, they have asked that the overall time complexity should be O of log of m plus n. So yeah, we'll try to look for a better approach than this. Okay, so what is happening is that I'm calling nums1 and nums2 a and b so that I can just pronounce it easily instead of just saying nums1 and nums2. So a has 4 elements and b has 6 elements. When we combine both of them, obviously we'll have 10 elements. Now basically, if I divide the array in two halves, let's say in left and right part, all the elements on my left hand side will be less than or equal to my right hand side, right? That is how we'll call them sorted, right? All the elements on this side should be lesser than all the elements on this side. Now when we understand this, the entire game becomes of placing I such that all the elements on the left hand side are smaller than the right hand side. Basically, how many elements can I take from my array A on the left hand side, right? So let's say I take one element from array A, then obviously since left hand side will have 5 elements, 10 by 2 is nothing but 5, right? My left and right hand side will be equal and will contain equal number of elements. So my left hand side can have 5 elements, And if I take one element from array A and 4 elements from array B, I see that my 6 is greater than 4. So obviously this is not a valid configuration, because we want where all the elements on the left hand side should be lesser than all the elements on right hand side. Now if we take 3 elements from array A and 2 elements from array B, I see that my 7 is again greater than 5, which is again not a valid configuration, because all the elements on left hand side should be lesser than all the elements on right hand side. Now let's say I decide that okay, I want to take all the elements from array A on the right hand side, on the left hand side, and one element from array B on the right hand side. What do I find again is that my 10 is greater than 3, which is again not a valid configuration, because we need all the elements on the left hand side to be lesser than the elements on the right hand side. So now what do? I take 2 elements. Is my 4 lesser than 6? Yes. Is my 5 lesser than 6? Is my 5 lesser than 7? Yes. So this is the only valid configuration that I can have. Okay, so once we understand this, okay, so once we basically have A of left less than or equal to B of right, and B of left less than or equal to A of right, I will have my answer, right? If in case it's like okay, so if in case it's even integers, I can take, okay, let's say this is even, right? I can take max of these two and minimum of these two, like minimum of these two and max of these two elements, and their average would be my median. So basically maximum of 4 and 5 is nothing but 5, and minimum of 7 and 6 is nothing but 6, divided by 2, which is nothing but 5.5, which was the actual answer that we had found in the starting, right? And if in case we have if in case we have odd numbers in the array, the max of A left comma B left will be my answer. Okay, yeah, so that's it. That discussed while solving the problem, that I always want my A to be the smaller array, right? So what we are gonna do, if nums1.size is greater than nums2.size, what we are gonna do is that we are just gonna we are gonna find median shorted array on that. So find median shorted arrays shorted arrays on nums1. Okay, now I could directly now I can directly do it on nums1 and nums2, but I'm just preferring to store it in another vector called A and B, easier for me to write as well. Vector apparent A of equals to nums1. I'm gonna just copy paste it. Say it B nums2, and I'm gonna store the length of these. Again, if you can just use A.size, that should also work. A.size int mn B.size. Okay, so now we know that we are gonna do binary search on this array, right? So for binary search, what do we need? We need half. So I'm gonna say int half equals to nothing but m plus n plus 1 divided by 2. Oopsie, yeah. Okay, and then goes the same story like we have learned in binary search. We'll set low is equals to 0, high is equals to m. We are setting m because we are like starting from the array A, right? And the size of array is nothing but m. So I'm gonna say while my low is less than or equal to high, I'm gonna say int I equals to low plus low plus high minus low by 2 and int j equals half minus I. Right, this is what we had decided. Okay, so we will be setting the boundaries first. Let's write the main solution. The only boundaries that I'm bothered about is that my a of left should be less than or equal to b of right, and my b left should be less than or equal to a of right. This is what we had decided, right? And in this, if my m plus n by 2, okay, let me just do this. Okay, yeah, if this is equal to 1, I have odd numbers and I can simply return whatever is the maximum of. I'm returning double because it has asked for the double, and I can say this is typecast max of a left comma b left. Okay, this is what was decided, right? Now else what we can do, right? Like that was the case when it is like odd. Else we can return max of a left comma b left plus minimum of a right comma b right divided by 2, right? This is what we had decided. I'm just gonna do 2.0 and I'm gonna mark a bracket here. Okay, yeah, so this is what we had decided, right? This is like straight away just finding the solution. Now another condition, what if like our conditions are not met in like first go, right? What if my a left is greater than b right? What we had said that our high is set to high, we are gonna say high is equals to I minus 1, right? Because our I was too big. Now else we are gonna, I was too small and we will move our low to I plus 1 and we'll return 0.0. like this is the case if the value is like unreachable, right? Okay, now one more thing that we had discussed in solution was setting up the boundaries. Okay, so now let's set up the boundaries over here. We had said my int a of left is this, if my I is equals to 0 0, it is int minimum, else it is a of I minus 1. This is what we had decided. Now I'm gonna copy paste it so that it's easier for me. Now my again a of right, what we had decided, my a of right was if my I is like reaching the bounds, if it is equals to that, then I can say it is a int of max, else it is nothing but a of I, right? Now I'm again gonna copy paste it. The other bound that we have for b of left, like pretty much the same, right? Just that we will be using j. So if my j is equals to 0 0, my b left would be nothing but int minimum. Else it would be b of j minus 1. J minus 1. Now same thing, we'll set the boundary for b of right. My b of right, if my j is equals to the n, it is at boundary line. My b of right would be nothing but int of max, or else it will be nothing but just b of j. Okay, so this was the entire solution that we had discussed in the video. Let's say if it is working or not. Okay, these test cases are passing. Let's submit it. Okay, yeah, so this works. Thank you everyone for watching.